All right, so we've got Anca with us today. Anca, appreciate you spending a few minutes with me. You are in Romania, is it?
Absolutely. Arad, Romania. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Awesome. And we found each other, I think it was through the Fastlane forum, correct?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. And we've seen your thread on there from a couple of years ago where you were doing accounting, not making the money you wanted, not doing what you wanted to do. And then a year later, you showed up and said, "Hey, I'm still doing the same stuff." And now it's a year later. So we're 2 years into this. What's
Mhm.
different today?
I believe the difference is that I finally chose accounting because in these 2 years, I kept trying to find something else, a new field, a new niche, a new business, a new whatever gig. But it didn't happen. So this is the only constant in my life for many years, and it is something that for many years I refused to do. And nowadays I decided to take a different perspective on it, and I see opportunity. So why not me?
So what was different about then than now? So before this, and just to catch up, as I recall, you were working as an accountant, you were working with your mom and her business, you were doing accounting for people, and that just wasn't that exciting. You felt there was more, you felt you should do something different, you looked around, all those kind of things. And now, did you look around? Did you try some other stuff? Did you open other businesses, try other things? Did they fail miserably? Or what has kind of brought you back to, wait a minute, I've had the answer here the whole time?
I think it was the fact that, first of all, my age. I'm a firm believer of never is too late. So I'm not saying I'm old and I'm very young, I know by normal standards, but I do not have the patience necessarily to start doing other things. And I don't have that risk tolerance, meaning I have a family, I have children, so I have to do something that gives me a very good baseline and that can take me up. Of course, other fields can do that as well. However, you need to risk a little bit, and this is something that I didn't want to do necessarily.
Sure, and it's one of those things of if you switch kind of the framework and the language for a minute, and if you say that your goal is to be successful for your family, not to necessarily be a successful accountant or business person or a gajillionaire or whatever. If you just say, I want to create success for my family, I want to build a legacy, I want to do things well for my children, then all of these other things that you saw as not interesting or not a path to take are now tools. They're things that you could use. They are abilities that you have. They are opportunities. And if you switch that framework, now you can kind of get to where you are now, which is, all right, maybe we just need to get to work.
Absolutely. And the word legacy, I absolutely agree with it. And legacy, not necessarily in the sense that, oh, this is the business family that you must carry on, but a legacy for them to know about us, who we were, what we built, and maybe just, give them the launch pad so they can go and do their own thing or see legacy in a good way, to be proud of themselves, to be proud of us as their parents. So it's not only being a billionaire, millionaire, like you said.
Was that one of the things that was holding you back? Was it your mom's business and you didn't want to upset the balance, or you didn't want to do it because she already did it? Or like, what were you thinking there? What made you say that wasn't the path initially?
Honestly, I think it was our relationship. So sometimes it's good to work with families, sometimes it isn't. It depends on the
Sure.
people involved. And for many years, I think that we didn't have the maturity, myself and her, maybe, I don't know, the way of communicating with me. So basically, she wanted me to grow the business with her, and I was stubborn in not growing the business with her because I felt that she was trying to impose things, she was trying to micromanage, control everything, and I just didn't want to do things her way.
Well, and it's pretty common, especially in, I'll say, our generation and our parents, because I'm a similar age. I'm 50. You're, I think, in your early 40s or 40s, something like that. Our parents, stubborn, pig-headed, only could do it their way. But you have to remember that in their age and at their time, there were massive amounts of them. There was a huge, that's why they're called the boomers, right? There were tons of
Mhm.
them. So the only way to survive was to compete and fight to the death, to pick a direction and go bullheaded and go strong, and to never work with anyone else or help anyone else or try to do for anyone else because they were your competition. And so we have to realize that's what they dealt with. So that's how they did things, right? And then here we come in and we want to make our own mark on the world and we want to do our own thing and we want to put our own print on it. And we're not being listened to. And oh, we got a great idea. But your parents may have already tried that idea, right? They may have already done it and it failed miserably and they don't have time to tell you all that. Like it's one of those things of if you can switch the framework to this is an opportunity and this opportunity is bigger than you and your mom, then maybe you could do something together.
I think so. I think so. And actually, this was one of my questions on the list. I was thinking whether I should continue building with my mom, taking into consideration the fact that sometimes we have difficulties in communicating. And at the end of the day, she has control because it's her company, or whether I should open my own. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, advantages, she's on the market since 2007. That's already
Mm-hmm.
couple of years of
Mm-hmm.
experience, credibility, and
Sure.
so on. Me starting anew would be a little bit different, but yeah, I think we'll have to make it work. And it will only work after we have a good talk about it. But I think that first I need to step up with my actions so she can see that I'm interested. She can see that
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to help with the workload. I'm interested in other things than the things that I was already doing. And so she can ask me maybe at some point because she wants to retire next year. So maybe
Sure.
she can ask, look, do you want to continue? I will end my business, or maybe you want to, and maybe this is not even a discussion. It's not even an option for me to open another company. Maybe I can just continue with this one. Why not?
Well, and there's so many directions we can go. The important one, Anka, is I think you need to sit down and have a conversation with her about what she wants. What is her why? What is her end goal? What does it look like 10 years from now? What would she want? And then what of that is she willing to not worry about and compromise on and is okay if you go in a different direction, right? I think if we in our age group and younger came to these boomer businesses and listened for a minute, right? If we listened to what they wanted and what their direction was and what their fears were and what their exit plan was and all those kind of things, then we'd have a little bit of perspective of how to now use that as a tool to help other people, right? Because there's something a little bit bigger here that you can invoke. Like if you do have trouble with her, like getting her to do something or go a certain direction, you can always bring in the don't your customers matter and what about them, right? And I think that's one of the big things that boomer businesses are missing right now. I'm in negotiations with another engineering firm right now. The guy wants to retire, right? He wants me to take it over, but he wants 50 gajillion dollars for it. It's not even a company. It's literally a sole proprietorship. It's a phone number and an address. And if this person
Wow.
leaves, all their licenses leave and there's no capability. So there's really nothing there other than ego, right? But the problem is he may take that with him and sell it for nothing and just keep it and it die with him. But what happens to his customers? What happens to the couple of staff that are working for him? Don't they deserve an opportunity to continue beyond them? So I think that's where the conversation with them on what is it you want, and then how can we leave this behind to help others that might be very beneficial. And I think you two may have already started, but I think that's a great starting spot is what do you want out of this and what's the direction you're hoping it goes?
Yeah, of course, we will have a discussion about it. And it is a good idea to
Hmm.
ask her what she wants to do.
And at
So,
some point, okay, and here's an important one in all business, especially if you're setting up partnerships and especially with family. You need to sit down when you're ready to have this conversation and you need to agree that you're going to disagree You need to
Absolutely.
agree that you're probably going to get heated. You need to agree that you're probably going to get personal. And you need to agree that you're still going to come back and talk about it. Right? So that's very common in business negotiations, especially in partnerships, because you'll start that, well, you don't do anything and you don't do anything and you do that, and you'll get really personal for a minute. And if you understand that that's going to occur naturally, then as soon as it does, you're not off put. You don't shut down the conversation, right? So you need to make sure that you understand that we're going to come up with a solution. Even if we call each other bad names for a day or two, we'll come back the next day and we'll fix it, right? Because that's where you invoke that this is bigger than us. Like, this is an opportunity to set up the whole family. This is an opportunity to help the kids. This is an opportunity to create a lasting name forever and to build a legacy and to build something. And it's a chance to help our customers. If you have to invoke that, go for it. And don't even mind, especially when you've agreed to get heated for a minute, to use the words quit being selfish. Okay? Because if I
Yeah,
could say
that's
anything to
very
boomer
well.
businesses, it is quit being selfish. Please understand that this needs to go beyond you, that all that skill set that you learned and were taught and others helped you with needs to be passed on to the next person so that we can keep doing it. Because there were tons of you, there were tons of boomers, and there's very few of us. So every single one of us is incredibly important and needs to be set up in the best way possible. And I can't emphasize that enough. This has to continue. Because I will say, for anyone our age and younger, to start something from scratch right now is insane. Why? Why would you do that? That's the hard part. That's impossible. That's so difficult to get your first 25 customers. That's so difficult to do all the stupid things you got to do to set up a business. Why not just take one over and make it better?
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
back to the conversation you can have with her, like, what do you want it to be? And then you might be able to say, well, what if it was this much bigger than that? What if we could do that? What if we got some help? What if we went this direction? And of course, you'll get all their fears and worries and things that they used to have. We can just say, what if? What if we try it and see what happens?
Absolutely. And I think she was open to the idea. And I think that's why for many years she tried to, because in the last 15 years, I wanted to quit, or I left the city,
Mhm,
or I
mhm.
stopped working for the company. And she
You weren't
always,
committed.
exactly. So she would always keep a spot there. And I
Mhm.
think she's open, even in setting it up with the clients. She said, you'll never have to take care of my clients. For example, you can just bring your own if you want to, or we bring new clients and you take
Mhm.
care of them. But I think it was a pride game and maybe massive lack of communication. Like you
Mhm.
said, heating up very quick, and
Mhm.
then instead of coming back to it 2 days after, we just didn't talk about it anymore.
Gotta bring it. You gotta agree to disagree. That's the first thing that comes in there. And then you said it a moment ago, and you're very wise in your words that you said, because your next step for you is to get so good that you're worthy of it. Because right
Mhm.
now you don't deserve it. You didn't build
I
it, you didn't start it, you didn't create it. You're not the best person there. You're not in the earliest. You don't stay the latest. You're not the one everybody goes to for the answers yet.
and I'm not prepared for it. So I could try to
Hmm.
pretend and say that,
Hmm.
oh, I worked in this area for so many years, but that's just not the truth. So
Well,
first,
and
I think we need to step up the game and then see.
a thing I found with the older generation, like, if you can set up little gates and little steps. Hey, mom, here's the first thing we're going to do, and I'm going to do that. And here's the second thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to do that. And here's the third thing, but you're going to do that, and then I'm going to do this. And then what you do is just start creating successes. Okay, I'm going to take over this customer and expand them. Awesome. I just did it. It's awesome. Hey, I'm going to find us two new customers in this area that pay us more money than the people that pay us now. Awesome. Make that happen. So as you start create successes, you build confidence in yourself and you build confidence in them to hand it over to you. And I think that's the biggest problem is the boomers raised, I'll call it a weak generation and a generation that wasn't going to fight for it because they didn't have to. They weren't starving. They didn't have to, do it to eat. Like, they were pretty well taken care of. So it's a generation that needs to see that it's important and that it will be successful or they're not going to do it. And that doesn't rub well with the boomer generation of you got to put in the work and you got to earn it and you got to earn your stripes and all that kind of stuff, right? So
Oh, sheer.
we got to bridge the gap between. So you've got to step forward and be so good that she tries to get out of your way. Like, oh no, you've got it, Anca. Like, you're amazing. You crushed that. You did great. So you got to raise your level like 20-fold.
And I think that she's a good professional and she can help me raise the level. So I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure that any question that I have, if I just go and say, look, I don't know what this is, I don't know where these numbers come from, or whatever
Okay.
question I have, I'm sure she can help me.
If she has any fear there, you can build it in two directions. You can say, okay, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to sit down on one hand and we're going to build out a system that we could hand off to someone else and sell to someone else. And then in the meantime, I'm going to go get so good that you want me to be that person. Because I think you need to do both because you're on limited time. You need to get this going now and you need to make money now and you need to have a direction now, or you've got to go find something else to do. So it needs to
Absolutely.
be very
Next
clear
year,
that there is a
next year
path,
is
right?
the deadline. Yeah, yeah.
All right, we
I
only got
have
a few minutes,
7
so I
months.
want you to
Yeah.
answer or ask your questions or finish out whatever thought you had going on there.
What I wanted to say is that yes, I only have approximately 8 months until I really have to step up my income. So it needs to happen quickly, but I think it's enough time for me to grasp a lot of the things that I have
Okay.
to learn. And I had this was the first question. If taking into consideration the power struggles, if I can call them that, if I should stay with my mom or open my own. But I think I will sleep on it more. I have time. But I think it would be a pity for the company to stop existing after so
Well,
many years.
let me
So
answer that question directly because there's a lot of people in your spot, and they may not be working for their parent, but they're working for the man, a company, a job, those kind of things. And they don't see a path and they don't know if it's the right spot and should they go out on their own and all those kind of things. Okay, well, step one is be so good that all they want to do is give you a raise and hand you the company. Okay, because you're
okay.
going to need to be that person for yourself. So you might as well do it while you're getting paid by someone else. The perfect
Absolutely.
launching point for a business is working for someone else. Sometimes they end up being your first customer because you're so good that when you do step out, maybe there is something that you two cannot agree on and you have to walk away or have to go acquire another business or have to go in another direction. That's okay because you're so good that they'll hire you to do the stuff you were doing before and they can be your first customer. So
Okay.
the first step is get amazing, get good. You don't have 8 months, you got 8 seconds. We're going to be amazing starting yesterday. You got me, Anka? Because you're already on this call, you're already on the forum, you already know you need to do it. Now you got to go do it. Now it's time to go make it happen and fail miserably as fast as possible, right? I need you to fail so bad they name it after you. Like, don't anchor this, right? I want to hear that over and over again because you're going to be pushing the envelope. You have nothing to lose, okay? Because
Absolutely.
you're not guaranteed this business, you hate it anyway, and you've already looked around for other stuff. So if it fails miserably, you're still where you were, but you'll have more information and you at least have more skill and you'll have more knowledge and belief in yourself. So you'll be better set up to do something on your own or acquire a different business if need be. I would also, while I'm thinking about it, I would do that, Anka. I would start looking for other accounting firms and people to take over from and buy or become a part of. I would do that also. So
Okay.
we're going to get really good and make a lot of money in our job. We're going to work with mom on a potential handoff, takeover, retirement, earn out, whatever. And we're going to go look for other businesses, other companies to work for, buy, and take over.
Okay.
That way, because if you have one choice, you have no choice. If you have two choices, you have a dilemma. And if you have three choices, you can make a choice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be.
All right. What's your next question?
All right. My next question was about, so if I start not on my, it doesn't matter, on my own or
When?
working for, it doesn't matter. Should I specialize in a certain field? I was thinking about this as an accountant. Of course, there are general fiscal regulations for all the
Mhm.
companies. There are different fields like agriculture, I don't know, other fields, they have special regulations,
Sure.
transport and so on. So I was thinking in picking my clients, for example, picking agriculture and only trying to take agriculture clients or companies that are
Well,
working in agriculture.
who does your mom make the most money from? What is that customer avatar? Who are they? Where do they work? What do they do? What's their business? What are their problems? If you were to take
Okay.
everyone she's dealt with before and find the 5 or 6 absolutely best, perfect customers that you make lots of money on, is there a pattern there? Are they in a certain
Okay. Yeah.
industry? Do they do a certain thing? Are they of a certain size? Okay.
Yeah.
The answer to your question is twofold. You need to create a customer avatar, and it might be 2 or 3 because you may not know, of who you can help best. And think about their problem and where they get their information and where they're going to be so you can get in front of them. And then you need to look at the skill set and tools and things that you have that you do really well. And you need to create a I do X for Y dollars in Z time. So there needs to be a very clear offer. Like for
Okay.
me, I can review and approve your equipment mezzanine for $5,000 in 3 to 5 business days. Okay, that's super clear. If you need a mezzanine and you need an engineer to approve it, and that's your budget and that's your time, you're already sold. And that's
Yeah.
very easy to market, advertise, sell, and go after. Okay, that makes sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I do X product for Y dollars and Z time. We have our customer avatars that we're going to build so that we can go get them. And then we're going to build out a 3-legged stool. So a 1-legged stool is very unsteady. A 2-legged one is also unsteady. A 3-legged stool will stand on its own. Okay. We have a 3-legged stool. Number one, and the first place you're going to go is loop and referral. You're going to loop back to the customers that you already have. You're going to see what you can do more for them. You're going to see how you can help them better. And you're going to ask them if they know someone that knows someone that you can help. Get a referral.
Okay.
Every conversation, email, and connection, ask these questions every time. How can we help you more? What do you need before you? How can we help you help your customer? Who do you know that knows someone that we can help? Okay, so that's our loop and referral leg. Okay. Then we're going to go double check our funnel, which is how people find you. Might
Okay.
be a website, it might be ad spend, it might be SEO, it might be a billboard, it might be you got a sign on the side of your car, it might be cards that you hand out when you go out to eat, it might be all those kind of things. That's your funnel. That needs to be working. Okay. Then we're going to build the most important for growth, which is direct. It is our outreach. So we're
Okay.
going to figure out 4 or 5 customer avatars. What's their name? Where do they live? What do they do? Where do they get their information? Who do they talk to? Who do they listen to? What are their problems? You're going to write that out. Like for me, it might be Larry is a project manager at a manufacturing facility and he's getting yelled at because he needs all of his mezzanines rated and he doesn't know anybody that can help him and he hangs out with his buddies on the weekend and he's on Facebook a lot. And okay, so how would I find him? I would talk about mezzanine load rating on Facebook and I got Larry. So
Absolutely.
we're going to create an avatar and then we're going to go get in their childhood birthday photos. So if you determine their business is this side, they're in agriculture, they make this much money and they have this many people, you're going to pull a list of those people and you're going to get in their childhood birthday photos. You're going to show up, you're going to call them, you're going to email them, you're going to send them a mailer, you're going to put a card in their box. Flowers are going to show up, you're going to beat on their door, you're going to call them every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. for the rest of their life because you know you can help them.
Yeah.
That's the important spot. You're not cold calling, you're doing direct outreach to help someone you know you can help and have helped before, and you know you can make their life better.
Mm-hmm.
That make sense?
It does.
Okay.
And word of mouth has worked for many years, my mom had offers like this from her clients. Would you like to keep, to be an accountant for my daughter's company, for my cousin's company? For you're very good. We would like to bring you more clients. And she would always say, no, no, that's the only workload I can take. And thank you so much. But word of mouth worked each time.
Well, and that's your loop referral side. So that's the first one to attack because it's the easiest if you have a long-standing business. Your funnel, everybody else tries to make you spend money on, and your direct is kind of your big one for initial growth. Okay, that is our marketing sales tree. Let's set that over to the side. You also need to start looking at operations. So if I handed you 150 more clients tomorrow, what would you do? Okay, well, do you have a process? Do you have a procedure? Do you have software? Do you have people you could hire that are already vetted and ready to go? Can you hand stuff off to a competitor and get a commission? Can you hire VAs? Basically, how would you build up the company, right? So if you and your mom decide, you know what would really be cool is if in 5 years this was doing $10 million US a year. Here's how we would build it and here's what we would do. And now you have a plan to go attack and just start working on every day.
Okay, so operations, yeah, that would definitely be very
Well,
important.
there's 4 parts of a business: marketing, sales, operations, and finance. Finance, you should be able to figure out. You're an accountant. It's a P&L, it's a cash flow. Cash flow, then profit, then growth, in that order, no matter what, right? Okay, you can explain that to people and teach people. You don't need help there. Your marketing and sales can kind of go together. That's your three-legged marketing stool. And then your sales is just explaining to people your expertise and helping them and getting started. You can
Yeah.
probably make that happen. You're personable, you're very communicative, you reach out, you're not afraid, you're going to be fine with sales. I'm not worried about you there. Your operations, though, if we absolutely assaulted you with 10 times as many customers, you're sunk tomorrow. Your product quality will plummet and you'll lose customers. So you need to start getting ready for what will I do? Who will I hire? And it can't just be Bob because I know him. Bob probably sucks. Like it needs to be somebody really good. So you can build out your staff avatar as well and start working on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And this builds also a good reputation, I assume, in time. Everyone
Well, and
will.
I want you, as you're doing this, to write down how you do it so that you can start counseling your customers on how to do it also. So
Okay.
I'll just give you, for instance, one of the first things we did when I decided to grow this company was rebuild our marketing machine. It became so good that we started doing it for other engineers and then customers and then other people. And we spun it off into its own company that'll do $1 million something this year on its own. Like we did it for ourselves and we saw that we needed it. So it's a really easy sell, right? Hey, we're engineers. Everybody sucks at marketing because they understand engineers. We do. We're engineers. Why don't you
Can
do
help.
marketing with us? And they're like, yeah, here you go. Here's some money. And so we splintered it off into its own company. So do write down as you do stuff because that's what you're going to help your clients. Because I want you to help your customers get better, not do for money.
Yeah, exactly.
How do I help this farm hand it off to their generation coming behind? How do I help this guy who sells shoes in a shoe store hand it off to his kids and it's making $2 million a year from now? How do I help explain to him marketing, sales, operations, and finance? How do I get him help? All of those kind of things, right? That's your mission, that's your charge. All right, you got one final question and then I got a jet.
Do you have any other advice for me right now?
Yes. Get out of your own way.
Okay.
Get out of your own way. Okay. You're your biggest critic, especially a mom, especially a female, especially about the age you are. You're going to have all these voices in your head that you don't know what you're doing. You're going to be all up in imposter syndrome. You're going to be super worried. Go fail miserably because your kids and your kids' kids deserve it. You've got this. Okay. You can help people. You have a skill. You have an opportunity. It's all there in front of you. Go work, Anca. Go be great. Go be an example to your kids of what it means where you can get 30 hours of work done in 3 hours. Be so good and so present and so in the moment of everything that you do that you give it all that you've got and everyone around you starts to raise their level with you. That's my piece of advice to you, Anca.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Really
that helped. All right, I'm sorry I have a meeting right behind or we would stay for another hour. Hit me up
No
again. We'll do it
problem.
again. I'm proud of you for calling me out and us doing the call. Nice work.
Thank you, Zane. Have a beautiful
All
day, and
right.
I hope to see you next time.
Say hey to mom for me. See ya.
Will do. Bye.